This is a Pyramid One International Network presentation. Hi, and welcome to Pyramid One World Radio. Let me tell you about the hosts of the upcoming show, A View of Humanity. Jamie Clark was just voted and given an award for the best psychic in Phoenix, Arizona, 3 years in a row. Evidential psychic medium Jamie Clark offers powerful and accurate validations of the spiritual dimensions around us. As a spiritual teacher, Jamie shows how to integrate the natural psychic senses with the empowerment of spiritual knowledge to help create a more fulfilling life of love, happiness, and success. Jamie's avid curiosity to understand how his gifts work have led him to participating in scientific studies about the afterlife and mediumship. As a master educator in spiritual development, Jamie shares his wisdom through his podcast, Psychic Evolution, the podcast where you discover the psychic potential within and learn how to empower yourself and manifest your psychic and mediumship abilities. Jamie Clark is also an author of the children's book series, The Adventure of Rocco and Tuki, The Kids from Mars, Book 1 and 2, as well as the Psychic Evolution training cards, and the Jamie Isms, Philosophies and Isms of a Psychic Medium. Now, let's talk about Maggie Clark. Maggie Clark is the co-host of the Psychic Evolution podcast and a prolific spiritual coach, an accomplished healer. Maggie is committed to helping people find a way to blend their spiritual life with their everyday life for empowerment, healing, and growth. The author of 365 Days of Tarot, Inspirational Tarot for your daily life. Maggie is a gifted tarot reader and astrologer. Maggie also has a healing arts practice in energy healing modalities. Together, these two team up to show you that your psychic senses are so natural, they are supernatural. Okay, now put your hands together. Let's bring them on. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Bobby. How you doing, sir? You good?
Good, very, very good. We're all there.
Awesome. You know, we have a lot of fun being able to share different perspectives, some insights and information so that people can at least begin to have maybe some different perspectives if they're interested in that. You know, because when we were first starting, Bob, as you know, we were talking about, you're going to have like a living library, man. You're going to have so many shows. You're going to be able to give people a lot of versatility to learn in many different ways. So, you know, I'm honored and appreciate, and thanks for having this ride with us.
You know, I tell people all the time, because a lot of people in that will say, you know, especially your show. I know that's one of the shows. I mean, let's face it, you're the longest person, the longest, guest,
Cool.
host, own show, you know, the whole 9 yards, the marriage, the courting part and everything. I mean, I've been through it. Maggie, you have no idea what he said, but
I know, it's all good.
Yeah.
oh, no.
We're together. Smart
You know,
man. Shh.
it was like guy talk, you know what I'm saying? But but anyway, but getting back to the other thing, you know, people always say to me, "Hey, you and Jamie and Ned are still together in a show and everything else." I said, we do share certain things in life that are unique to some people. I mean, some people just, I mean, it's like, like they say, what is it? So, soul flames and things like that.
Twin
Well, everything.
flames. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something like that now where somebody can relate with the other person without knowing what they're going to say next or be on the same wavelength. Sometimes you're difficult, but still.
Apparently, you're right there with me.
Yeah,
So,
I do my best. I swear. I've taken my shoes off just in case the electricity comes through the shoes.
funny, that
But
stuff's real.
no, well, it's true. But the other thing was some of the people now, as I said, I do have people out in California that are listening, and I do have somebody. Hopefully, he's on by now, and he's listening down in Brazil, and there are people in Pakistan right now that are listening to us also. These are people from all over the world, and all they want to hear is somebody that's human. This is an actual comment that I got on an email. He said, "You guys talk. It's not like it's scripted or anything." And I said, "Well, part of mine is to a degree, because I mean I know kind of sort of where I'm going. With you, I don't. I throw the script in. But if I'm doing someone else, and that's why I got 5 computers net around here because I can see what the person's going to talk about, and I'll take all the parts that I read in their book or whatever, and put it on the thing, and that so that I know this is the direction I'm going to, and this is where I'm going to come back to. A lot of guys don't do that. A lot of interviewers that they go in one direction and they just close out an interview. I like to end where I started.
That's beautiful. Bring it back
To make
around.
a complete 360 on the thing, and that so that somebody can wrap it in their own mind and understand where they were. It's a punctuation at the end of their journey, just like you do every time you do a show. You show somebody the punctuation in their lives on their journey.
And if we can get people to help themselves, this will be a better place, one person at a time. And who am I going to start with first? Myself. I am Jamie. I'm no longer a hypocrite. Right. I will always be of service to others and help them in any and every way I can. Plus, I now keep myself included because, as I share a lot with people that I would always be, I can help everyone else but myself. And I kept helping everyone else but myself. And after many years of doing that, I thought to myself, man, I am a hypocrite. If I'm helping others, I'd better be willing to help myself. Otherwise, what am I saying? What am I doing? And so the great thing is as I've been able to communicate, I do get the opportunity to help myself as well through the psychic mediumship abilities, because there are times when I'll get intuitive, I'll get psychic information, an upcoming potential for me that just drops right into my big head. And I'm like, got it. And as you know, I always say, please be skeptical, question everything, just be open. I've gotten enough of these validations where I'll share it to go, hey, nobody has to listen, but I know from firsthand experience, not secondhand, this stuff is real. And the more that I questioned it, the more that the information would come to me. And when I was realizing that my team, our loved ones, our higher self, and so much more are always for us and never against us. And so sometimes we need to take a roundabout way to get to the very place we started, which is just like life, just like you were saying. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And I mean, especially with tarot. Tarot is funny because, Maggie, you do the who, what, when, where, how, and why.
Not only tarot, but
a little bit. Yeah, you can build any spread with the tarot and make it just completely flourish. You can look at subconscious levels, superconscious levels. You can look at outcomes if you choose to, energy to use, what you should focus on. That's the beauty of the tarot, is you build a spread to kind of encompass what you want to gain from that information. And depending on who you are and what you're interested in, really depends on what cards you're going to throw down, and also which spread you'll choose. There are, for more spiritual context, I would always do one type of spread that will let me see various levels of consciousness, from the conscious to the superconscious to the subconscious, so that we can see how to integrate life, how to flow into life. And it's created specifically so that that visual of those levels of awareness are built into it. But when I'm out in public reading, I might do a spread that is really more about what people are interested in, like work relationships or job relationships. And then I want environment positions. I want to look at energy crossing you, things that really kind of support that. I'll also look at soul direction, soul desire, challenges, things of that nature. But that's the beauty of tarot, is sky's the limit. If you can create or think of a spread, you can create one. If you want an answer for a specific, geared towards a specific thing, then you can create a spread to help amplify the information that you want to gain from it.
And by a spread, does that mean a certain amount of cards and the placement?
Exactly. The amount of cards, what the placement is. Obviously, we can do past, present, future. That could be a 3-card spread right there. Or if you want to look internally, you'll say, what's the gift of a situation? What's the illusion? What's hidden in the shadow? And how do I combine these two and unify myself in that process? So that could be a more spiritual slant. Instead of looking at past, present, future, I'm looking at a gift, a shadow, and an integration place.
Plus, something that, is interesting to me is, like I do all day long, I don't have to physically see you. I don't have to physically in any way see that. I love when Maggie, in this case, when she does the tarot, she can do it online. This person's not sitting physically there. She can literally take his soul print energy, like a fingerprint were soul prints, and she can take that person's energy and start, I believe, shuffling in connection with that person who's asking her the questions without touching the cards, without doing anything. It is all orchestrated by Maggie. She's able to get that energy vibe and usually very accurate with information about that person. As I share quite a bit, I love going to her presentations because I see the public and sometimes they'll come in and go, oh, okay, those are lovely cards. All right, whatever. And then she starts throwing down some cards and the person's going from, oh, whatever to, yeah. And what about, and I love it because, Maggie's like myself, and be practical, question everything. But these persons sit down and they get firsthand experience to go, in this case, a public presentation. You don't know me from anybody. And she's like, I know. That's the case. However, the cards will speak to her in this case about some of this other person's life experience or possible questions that they had that they didn't even realize they had until maybe she brought it up.
Yeah, the nice thing about tarot is that sky's the limit. And when you are connecting, virtually, remotely, you're using the natural laws of the universe. You're saying, okay, we're all one. We know we're all one. So then we're all in this collective consciousness. So I'm asking my higher self and whoever's higher self to come into the forefront of that consciousness, of that cosmic soup, so to speak, to help shuffle. And I really think that like energy attracts like energy. I see every card as an energy signature. And so different dynamics in people's lives will pull out different energy signatures because like attracts like. It's a quantum physics. It's a law of the universe. And so we work with the natural laws. We trust those. And when you have the faith, when you have the trust that your higher self and someone's higher self is actually in the mix of this whole thing, then you can just let go of any fear that whatever message comes out of your mouth is right or wrong, good or bad, how it can be received, because you're trusting so intimately the process of the natural laws of the universe, but also that we're going to be receiving the highest and best message in love for the best of all concerned. And that's how I shuffle every single reading, is in love for the best of all concerned. What can I help or offer? How can I serve this person? And that's the beauty of doing these magnificent readings, is that you're just opening up to the integration soup, the cosmic soup of the higher self, and the cards and the energy and all the dynamics of co-creating life.
But what she's kind of bringing up for me is with our higher selves, that's spirit energy without necessarily a physical body. She's doing mediumship in this connection with the tarot. Our loved ones can sometimes help. Our higher self can help in that way. Have you received any messages while you were doing a tarot reading that you could classify as a mediumship reading? How did that work?
Yeah, I was doing some online gallery readings with Michelle Claire, she was formerly a student of Jamie. She's now a professional psychic medium. And she's wonderful. So I was doing some online readings with her, and it was really interesting because she focuses a lot on mediumship. That's really her niche, and I focus more on the tarot. I usually don't do public mediumship. And during this online event, everybody wanted mediumship, and I was like, "Oh crap! Like, what am I supposed to do in this situation? Because I don't do mediumship." And so what I did was I just started kind of tuning in, opening up, and then all of a sudden I was just saying, okay, let's see if I can pull any of that through. And sure enough, I was throwing down cards when Michelle was doing mediumship to see if I could connect. And some of the connections that the cards made were things that Michelle was like a mother figure that she was connecting to, or a certain thing she was seeing for another a person in her mindset. I was like, oh, I was totally seeing that in a couple of the cards. Now, that's the only time I've actually sat down and really focused on mediumship for the cards, only because that's just not what I've specialized in. But I do think that it's possible because all you're doing is tapping into an energy signature, and it's being able to interpret that. It's a little bit different than mediumship in the sense where you have a loved one stepping forward and offering you insight and messages that you're receiving through your metaphysical senses. Through a card, I have my own, energetic interpretation of that card. So I found it was harder for me to get out of my own way about what I knew about a card to open and receive just pure information. It's a much different way. So I haven't really pursued the mediumship aspect with the tarot cards, only because I definitely felt I was getting in my own way because of my logical brain that knows so much about these brilliant cards.
I got, I do have, what is it, the first week of May, and then I have a birthday coming up. You got to throw down some cards.
Oh, I love to do a reading for you.
Yeah,
Oh, that would be, I'm telling you right now, between all of us, we're either going to be at our back going, oh no,
a little bit of both.
Or going, what it is.
The good thing is she's genuine and kind of like me, if it's there, we'll share it. If not, I don't have a clue.
But she throws, wait a minute, she throws cards in Facebook once in a while.
Yeah.
And I follow every single one of them.
Nice.
I mean, reading these things, I'm serious. I had a woman, and if I got the video, I'll send it. Well, not a video. I think it was just a vocal. But she sat next to me in the studio and did readings for people on the phone right next to me. And I'm saying, whoa. And like these, she's like you do. I mean, it's like shuttle the cards and everything else. And it was like the spirits were coming through the cards. And I'm like, whoa. And of course, you were in Charleston. I was in Charleston at the time. So, of course, we're only where the studio was. We were like, maybe 4 blocks from the Charleston cemetery. The first one that was ever there. You know what I mean? Like they have the pirates in there and everything.
Oh, wow.
And then even when I did it out of the studio on the island and things, I told you how many times I could see the cemetery from my window.
Yep.
Out of the place. And it was like, well, these people doing these cards next to me, and these spirits are just coming up out of the ground and going, hi, how you doing?
And were you seeing some spirits in those areas when you would look every so often? Or
no, I used to take Jake for a ride, actually, or a walk right by the cemetery, and then he used to water the trees. and as we went by, I would go, I'm always out like 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning. Like most people are sleeping at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Me, I'm out walking a dog.
Wow.
So, let's face it. Yeah, but if you wanted to meditate, there's no noise, there's no sound. The sky is what it is. You can look at a sky, you can look at the moon or whatever, and you can feel what's around you because there's nothing interfering with it. The radio waves and everything else that are usually in all day long and that which interfere with everything from 5G to just your electric. All this stuff is off. So all you're getting is universal energy. And that's it.
And so when you were tuning in and doing it for as long as you have been, were you starting to get some validation that maybe life experience, you would get some insider information and you didn't know what was going on. You just received information. And then you're talking to another person and the information that you received in the morning time, you feel like is about the person that you're talking to now in the afternoon. Have you ever shared any psychic information with another person
No,
that you?
not that I mean, with you, yes. With anybody else, no, because they think I was like, whatever. But it's kind of crazy because I mean, I told you some of the stories, Nick, that I had. I took the dog for a walk, and at one time, and the trees turned around. Remember that a long time ago? It
Yeah,
was a place, something Moss.
that's
I didn't have,
beautiful.
but the place that we were walking at was there was the big leaved trees, and I heard this like brushel, and of course that hour of the morning you might have a raccoon or something like that that's jumping around the trees or something like that. So we're sitting there, the dog's doing whatever he's doing, and I'm sitting there just looking around, and all of a sudden I see the tree. The tree moved. No wind. No wind. The tree moved. So I said, oh, okay, maybe it was saying, hey, I had some coffee before I left home, whatever. Could be like, whoa. So we walk a little bit further down. Now there's like, I don't know, got to be 20 trees just like it, separating the actual community from the road from where we were. And all the way down the way, each one of the trees are turning as I'm going down. And when I got home, the first one, I woke up somebody at home and said, you're not going to believe what just happened, because it was like fresh in my mind. And I was like jumping up and down, like, hey, this is like weird.
And
Even,
real.
even the dog stood, turned around and went, huh? One of those. So, I mean, things happen. Energy moves either in you or with you or around you. What are the three? It's with you all the time. I'll give you another one. And here's one that even the person that's on the phone that I will be to you in 1 second. There was a show, and I'm going to catch it, and I want to get the audio if I can find it. But I heard it this afternoon. It was about someone who literally caught it on an MRI of a person dying.
What
I
happened? What did it show?
I freaked out when I saw it. I said, I saw that, but it was me. 30 seconds before you die. No, I'm not kidding. They actually literally, you could see it on the film that they were using and what they were doing on the computer on the MRI. The guy had some kind of a seizure or something like that, a heart attack, and everything just stopped. 30 seconds before, it was like the brain. You could see the brain, the nerves and everything else that firing. All that stuff was it kind of sort of slowed down for a little bit, you know? And then there came a point when all of a sudden, for 30 seconds, it went nuts, nuts. But they found out this was 30 seconds after the heart and brain supposedly died. So the brain, even though the body was dead, the brain was very, very active. And that's the period of time when the brain takes everything you did from the time you went and you were born till the time you went when you died.
That's exactly what we do. We live our entire life in one breath.
That's right. Exactly. And it was unbelievable. It's the collecting of all the information you've attained through your entire life in 30 seconds. And your
And
energy takes it with you.
And are we seeing that we now realize we're not a bunch of brains walking around? It is the soul print of consciousness that animates that computer, as I call it, and that physical body. And so when you're out of it, now we're starting to get a little bit of a glimmer, because they may not have gotten anything like that. It feels like there could have been some timing thing with that. Like, hey, that was a surprise. But the good thing is the universe is like, hey, let's give you a little bit more insight, just something to check out. And now getting a solid scientific calibration of that to go, now we're starting to see a little bit more of the physical vehicle is all it is a vehicle to get around, whether it's a human, animal, or an insect. It's only a vehicle to house your soul print of consciousness. And my thing is notice on a number of these experiences that you're having, you're able to equate that to yourself. I feel like that is for me. Okay, I'm paying attention. You're starting to open up even more. So as you open up more to those energies, they'll speak to you, because they're always talking with us. It's just, are we listening? And now it seems like you've found your way. In this case with Jake and taking those walks in the morning, you've got every time I take a walk, it's quiet, I'm receptive, I've got my own way. And now you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy because now you're saying it before it happens. And now you're expecting it. So usually it'll happen. That's kind of like a reality aspect too.
There's many things that you get excited about in life. I'm excited to go to a baseball game, excited to go to the movies, excited to go to the zoo or something. We're excited, me and the dog are excited to go out at that time in the morning. It's a binding. You're people don't realize you're actually binding yourself to the earth. You definitely are, or to the universe, whichever way you happen to aim.
A little both.
It's like a gun, man. It's like you're aiming. You're like I'm gonna talk to this. I'm gonna talk to that. I want to feel this. You open yourself up to see if something comes in, and it usually does. Just like where we're talking about the guy that died and everything. He came in with love. He left with love. Now, isn't that amazing? You could be any human being, and I don't care who you are. And I know this. I'm going to get emails up the kazoo now. But I don't care who you are. You could be the meanest guy on the planet. And then we got a few of them. They still came in with love and they'll still leave the same way. And that's the way it goes around. If everybody could get it through their thick heads and say, hey, this is the way it works. Do you know that more people would believe what we're saying right now and apply it to themselves more often?
You know, you bring up an interesting point, and that is there's a gentleman, a scientist, and I'm not a doctor, a scientist, nothing, but his name was Albert Einstein. You know, he was pretty good. Yeah, he had the technology to obliterate life. He's also the same scientist who wrote about 1,400 letters, 1,400 letters, and he told the people, please do not show humanity this information for at least a few decades. They're not ready for it. Well, after many years, a couple of decades, they opened him up and they saw in one particular letter that he had written to his daughter. I didn't even know he had a daughter, but it basically said that we have found that love is a real energy. It is what all life springs from. Yes, exactly. This is a scientist who had the technology to obliterate life that also realized love allows all of that stuff to be. Isn't that crazy? Good, bad, happy, sad. It is all about love. And that's why I always share, unless you have your own experiences like I do, or you graduate life, every time I connect, my soul is full. It's like the best mood that you've ever been in, the best meal that you have ever had, effortlessly and no judgment, ever, ever on the universe's part, completely loving and accepting. And as I always say, the words that come to me each and every time I have that expansion and come back, who are you now? Like, oh man, we are those eternal beings. And each life we live in one breath. If we'll just learn to breathe the breath of life, you'll begin to live as the eternal soul bird of consciousness. And sometimes people want to come here and not have any awareness of that spiritual stuff. It's like, really good. Does that work for you? Great. It doesn't matter how you exit this planet, as we perceive it when you're on the other side. They're right here. Hey, you're here. Great. They're not going, well, how did you get here? It's, oh, you're here. Because we now start to realize that life only holds the value and meaning we place upon it. It's all truly an experience.
Well, a lot of people don't realize either, and that your soul forgets where you were. It's like new time, new body.
Yeah, but that's the beautiful aspect of it. The universe gives us that forgettery so that we forget where we come from and give ourselves the gift of living in the present. Because most of us are soul searching either in the past or in the future and not even living in the present moment.
Let me give everybody this one. Everybody that's listening and everybody that's watching this, on a post, when it's on YouTube or whatever. I want everybody to send me an email. How far back in your life can you vividly remember anything? How far back? What age were you when you could actually remember something? There are a lot of people that say, when you die, you're going to go, that's it, poof. I said, no. Energy, soul, it's all one. And that soul or energy never goes away, is not destroyable, and will be here or there or another planet or even another universe forever. It was born of a being that is way over our head and everything. And
Literally,
he
pardon the pun.
gave it to us with what? Love. And that's exactly where it came from. So, how far back can you? I mean, I actually can remember when I was 2 years old, sitting on my mother's
Wow.
Hoover vacuum, and that it didn't have wheels; it had these like rails on the bottom. And in our first house, well, not first, only house, there was we had central heating that was coal fed,
Oh,
and we're
nice.
talking that
That's
far back.
old school, man.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
old school. And there was a metal grate that was on the top of it, big, like a 4 by 4 foot grate that was over the top. So the heat would come up there centrally in the house and then warm up the whole house. My mother would, with me sitting on the vacuum, pull me over that thing as she went around and vacuumed all the rooms. So I can remember the sound of it going over the grates and sitting on it while she's pulling it. And in the same kind of scam or scammer thing, I would say, at the same, I was about 1.5 to 2.5, somewhere's in there somewhere. I was actually singing to records
Oh, nice.
in our living room.
That was like over
And
100 years ago.
yeah, something all up at 120. But the thing is, I can remember that far back.
Wow.
So that's what I'm taking with me. I already took it
And
once.
so much more, though. So much more. I think you're bringing up an interesting point, just to my awareness. A lot of us will do a releasing of a circumstance or an experience or whatever the case is. And she, my master guide, let me know the fact that if you release anything, you're only releasing your conscious connection to that particular circumstance, experience, whatever it is. Because in a soul fullness, you will remember everything
Hmm?
ever that has ever happened in any and every way. Because some people like, oh, you'll never know what you do to another person. For me, I'm like, well, I beg to differ. Because for myself, I was just sitting there. And most of the time, it's just I'm sitting there doing nothing. I'm not meditating. I'm just relaxing. And in this case, whoop, I became everybody that I ever interacted with in every way. I felt every energy exchange and back to me. And that lasted about a second, a split moment. And as soon as I came back to myself, the words are, how'd you treat yourself? Like, oh my God, there is no separation. Each one of us, we are only one.
Right.
And that kind of connection is we're the one ocean of consciousness. All of these little droplets are within the ocean, but it's also with the scientific aspects beginning to validate more of the spiritual aspect, eternal beings and other universes. Yeah, right? Because if we're eternal and we've always been, and yet this universe has only been here about 14.3 billion years, then we may not be from this universe. Otherwise, we wouldn't be eternal. Or
Uh,
something like that. Yeah,
let's see if this phone person over here is ready.
Cool. Bone person, how you doing, huh?
Hey, who's from Michigan over there?
I'm from Michigan.
Ah, you're from Michigan. Okay, here's Jamie and Maggie. Go ahead.
Hey, what's your name?
Dawn.
Don. So what's up, my dear? How can we be of service to you? What are you looking for?
Lately, I've been having a lot of trouble with boundaries and always saying yes to babysitting or doing things for other people, and never quite getting around to doing time to myself and things that I want to do. And I'm struggling with how I fix that without feeling guilty that I should be helping other people.
Yes, ma'am, and beautifully shared. But in addition, notice what you're saying. You will always help others. That is beautiful. I always say, hi, I'm Jamie. I'm no longer a hypocrite. I make sure if I'm of service to others, I keep myself included. And what if it's just the genuine sincerity that you want to help other people? The great thing is you're able to do that. The challenge becomes, it starts to become a powerful challenge when we begin to live for other people. And hey, as long as you're happy, that's great. No, I'm I'm all right. Then you start to trade off. And for myself is, if you're not able to physically do some of the things that you want to do, then how about if you just sit down a minute or more each day, and I want you to imagine yourself doing what it is you want to do. What? Take a trip, what? Music, anything that's good for you. If you can dedicate yourself a couple of minutes a day, for me, that's what I started doing because I was frustrated that I'll always help others, but what about me? I need to help myself too. And so as I started finding my ways to help me, one, I wasn't going to negate other people just to benefit me. But two, I always kept helping others, and I began to saunter down my neural soul way with my experience of life. Hey, you know what? Today I feel like just hanging out and going around and just enjoying the beach. So in a brief moment, I'm at the beach, hanging around, enjoying it, great conversations, energy, because right now, as we're talking, your entire life experience is nothing but a memory. What will we choose to keep remembering? Because it's going to keep playing. And the connection is you're graciously wanting to help others, but you're forgetting about yourself. And for me, I was very good at that. And a lot of times when we start to be good for other people and live for them, you'll usually start to do this in your own life. That's weird. Where'd everyone go? They'll get busy, they move. It becomes a reflection. You're forgetting about you. You're giving the energy to everyone else. They'll get it and you'll get nothing. And you'll be like, what about me? Yeah, what about you? Now I've learned, right, it's no longer narcissism, it's self-realization, for I cannot give what I do not have. And in your own way, if you're able to, maybe, if they've got a scheduled aspect where you're always helping, maybe, a week in advance or a couple of weeks or a month or whatever you would be comfortable with, let them know that you're going to be doing something on that day. Just direct it for your own day. You can do anything or nothing. Just whatever you're doing is dedicating a little time for you. And when you can do that and actually honor it, live it, if you're okay with that, for me, that was huge. But I also learned that it's no longer narcissism, it's self-realization because I cannot give what I do not have. And so I got so frustrated with helping others and not myself, I kept being on that channel. Once I started opening up to go, I will always help others and I'm open to help myself, I now get my own psychic potential information of upcoming events. For me, it's brilliant. It's not just a one way unless you perceive it to be that way. You have the caring, compassionate energy. So it's not something you have to work on. That's just who you are. But it's also now start being that loving, compassionate, caring person for yourself too. Otherwise, the people will be like, oh, is that what you're supposed to do, is help everyone else and not you? And you'd be like, well, not quite like that. It's they want to see if the one who helps everyone else is going to help themselves because they don't always know how to help the one who helps everyone else. They'll offer, if there's anything I can do, Dawn, I am here for you. And they mean it. They just don't know how to help you. So you, like me, do the best you can to help yourself. And when people can start to see, oh, you're always helping others, but it's okay to take time for you. I thought you were losing out. Now I'm starting to see you're losing out if you only live for everyone else and not yourself. And sometimes they just need to be able to see and experience that experience without having to go through it. They can see, in this case, you going through it and learn in that way. Challenges is you're very tacitly keep going through it. And now you're going psychic because you're saying it before it happens.
Okay.
Also, Don, I threw down some cards for you, and I would like to first off say congratulations because I love this subject of boundaries. I think it's something that every single person on this planet can value from right now. And I've heard this question from so many people. How do I, and I actually have asked this question of myself as of late too. So I'm in the same boat and I'm going to eat my words later and I'm going to eat them with ice cream and cake. But I will say this.
You want a knife and fork with that? Or?
No, I could just use I'll just bury it in my face. I'm good. But okay, Don, in all seriousness though, it does look like you've made a commitment to this already. I feel like internally, this is something that inside you've said, I am committed to setting boundaries for myself and doing what's right for me. So I just want to remind you of the commitment that you already made, because it's showing up here in the cards as something you're building on. Now that means
Yes.
you have to be the one to remind yourself of that daily. Okay. That's going to be the commitment that you need for yourself, is just to remember that this is what you want to create in your life, a new way. Now you are going to butt heads with your conditioning of being a yes person. We are programmed, and especially women, but we are programmed to be yes people, to be like, what can I do for you? How can I take care of you? How can I support you? How can I show up for you? And when we grow up with that level of conditioning, sometimes it's even harder to go in our own direction, right? To do something that's good for us, because we're confronting our conditioning from our childhood. So if you can take a peek at that in your spare time and do some journaling around, what did that look like? Where was I conditioned to be a yes person? Do I still have that same train of thought? Do I still believe what I believed when I was taught how to be the yes person? And the answer is probably not a full body yes, not at all. It's like, no, I've changed, I've grown. I don't actually think and believe the things that I was taught as a child in the same way. So I can now shift and change my way of thinking. Also, the thing that creates good boundaries is structure. And first and foremost, it's, well, of course, staying committed to what you've already decided, because I feel that really deeply, but then creating a structure, saying, okay, what does it look like when Dawn takes care of herself? Okay, when she says no, what replaces that time frame? And maybe make a list of things that replace the time frame. Like if I say no to babysitting, what are the things that I'm going to be doing instead? How am I going to be taking my care of myself? What am I going to do to exercise the commitment that I've made to myself? Maybe make a list of things so that when you say no, you can look at that list and be like, okay, I'm going to do one of these things instead, because it's really where I want to be spending my time and energy. Or before making a decision of whether to babysit or do whatever that maybe compromises what you find your boundaries to be, look at that list saying, what do I really want to do? Do I want to do babysitting, or do I want to do something here on my list? So coming up with that mental structure can help guide you when you're making those decisions. You also have a ton of primal fire, vital life force energy. The Ace of Wands is poking through as an energy to use. And it doesn't poke, actually. It just like bursts forth. And in fact, it's so intense and it's so strong that you may have found yourself being angry when you're compromising your boundaries. And I'm going to say, cool, get angry, get fueled. Allow that passion, that intensity of, I can't do this anymore. I got to do something different. Allow it to fuel you to break down the old structure and to create a new structure, because that fire will level a building, but also from the fire of the ashes, the phoenix is born. And you're going to go through a rebirthing process of a whole new paradigm, a whole new thought process of how to stay committed to yourself so that you find peace and harmony in your relationships. And then you find a way to communicate those to the people that you love so that they can understand you and support you as you're doing something nice for yourself. Make sense?
A lot of sense.
Okay. I know that was really long-winded. It gave you a ton of information, but if you just take a couple of those things that Jamie's talked about and that I've talked about, some of those techniques, start employing them right here, right now. Take the fire, take the passion, write your lists, do the exercises Jamie guided you to do to take yourself to the places that are beneficial to you in your mind sight. Then you can start creating that in your life. And you're right there. You have a lot of energy to work with right now. And the hardest part is breaking down the conditioned paradigm of being a yes person. And I'm a yes person too. I'm constantly saying, someone will be like, can you do this? Of course I know how to do that. I could absolutely do that. Oh, I don't have a website built. Oh, I know how to do that. Let me put another thing on my plate that I don't have time for, right? And so I'm constantly having to set boundaries and realize, okay, not just because I know how to do something, just because I have time to do something, doesn't mean it's how I want to be spending my time. So I've had to pull back from being a yes person and really set new boundaries because, yeah, I know how to do these things and I'm good at them and I love them. And it doesn't mean that saying no to them negates the fact that you love the people you want to babysit for and you love the people you want to show up for. What it does is it just means that you love yourself too. So remember that, stay committed. I feel your commitment really strongly. If you want to create this in your reality, in your existence, it's all up to you to make sure that when you say yes, you really mean it. And if there's any part of you in your body, in your heart, in your mind that says no, say no until you're ready to have a full body yes, a full mind yes, and a full heart opening yes.
And that's another dynamic is with that. How about if you take a few minutes and go back to an experience earlier in your life that you made a choice to help the other person and not yourself? And then I want you to go back in your own way and choose to help yourself first. Just say no to the circumstance. You don't have to say anything to anybody else. This is your own mental imagery. But finding that connection, at least for myself, if I wasn't doing an action in the physical way, I started doing the action in the metaphysical way to help balance things. Because sometimes we don't seemingly have a choice and we need to honor the circumstance to help the other people or whatever the capacity is. But it also became very nourishing for myself to go, God, this feels amazing, because now I'm getting more expanded. One, I made the first choice many years ago to say yes, and I kind of felt like from that moment on, I was starting to lose my identity. I became the caretaker. That's the point. And now, as I've gained a few more years of wisdom, I'm able to start taking myself back to some of the experiences or dynamics that were challenging and then approach it in a new way and see what it feels like. Because no matter what, any of these things, all we're doing right now is recalling an experience we've already done.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense.
Cool. You are worth it. Give yourself the opportunity to do this, and you'll move from narcissism to self-realization, for we cannot give what we do not have.
Awesome.
You got
Very
it.
cool.
Keep us posted if you would, please.
All right.
Well, there you go. Now,
I will.
now, if you
Thank
want to, if you want a copy, all right, this is what you do. Just write to Bob Charles Show, Bob Charles Show at live.com. In the subject,
Okay.
say, "Get me a copy of your show." Then I know exactly which show it came from, because I give a different sentence out to all the shows. So, want a copy of your show.
Perfect.
And in this way,
Okay.
then write whatever you want to in the body of the thing, and I will send you back a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of links to go to different websites, and you'll also see Jamie about 100 times in the videos.
The good thing is you're calling in your own accord, your own choice. And yet the reaction might be that we're having a conversation, that we might be giving you possibly a slightly different perspective than what you had before we were on this conversation. And then maybe we'll be leaving this conversation with possibly a little bit more insight and information about how to deal with life experience. Because I'm right there with you. I don't want to have to disappoint people, but I also learned if I keep trading off, I'm going to start to get irritated at the very thing I effortlessly do for others and not myself. So now I'm no longer a hypocrite. And people realize it's okay to give to yourself because you cannot give what you do not have. I'm like, exactly. And it became a huge dynamic because I wanted to make sure I wasn't forgetting other people. And I was a narcissist. To me, a narcissist is somebody who thinks there's only a limited amount of love and whatever the case is. It's unlimited. You can have as much or as little and you love just the same. You already know you come from a lot of love. Now, just make sure that you reflect it back on yourself too.
Okay, I will do.
Well, there you go. You can hang out and you can listen.
Thanks
Or,
for calling, Don.
All
or
right.
should I say, and when you get off this telephone call, you know what? You're actually going to feel better than you did when you got on the phone. When you were on the phone, you had some doubt in your mind. Now you've resolved all that doubt, and when you come off the phone, you're going to go, "Wow, I feel great today."
And with the information, giving yourself an opportunity that as you move along day to day, you can feel great. And if anything, just in a mental way for you to say, no, I'm going to do my own. You don't have to say anything to anyone, but see how empowering that might feel to go, whoa, wait a minute. I said that whether they were here or not, and it feels good. Yep. Nobody else has to know. You'll just vibe your own inner space astronaut journey.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome.
Catch you later. I'll be looking for the email.
Yeah. Oh, he gonna get you.
That was B Charles show live.
Yeah, Bob, just spell it just like it is. Bob Charles Show at live.com.
Cool.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay.
We'll talk
Thank
with you again,
you.
Don.
See you
Nice
then.
work. You got
All right.
this.
Thanks. All right. Bye-bye.
Beautiful.
You know, I tell you something, calls like that and calls that come through that like that. I love people that call in that have any kind of an inner self problem, not a problem with the world. We all have that. But I mean, something that you want to resolve yourself and you need someone to talk to. You know, people don't do that. That's what drives me crazy. Even people that I see in like every single morning, I'm talking to a bunch of people. But when I do this, these are people, these are kids that are going to school around here, going to colleges. There are people looking for jobs. There are all kinds of crazy things, and I wish you were with me because they could use the psychic half of them. But you know, as far as I'm concerned, that what I can do is I can steer them in a direction back to themselves, because so many people know what they want to do, but they doubt. Or somebody says something, they say, well, this guy said, I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Is he in your body? Does he own you? Do you own him? No? No to all three questions. Okay, this is what you do. Think about yourself. And then I give him to the thing. I said, go to the mirror one of these days and go talk to yourself. And the guy said, what are you, crazy? No. I said, you go to the mirror and say, this is what I want. I said, now, once you're done with the mirror, go out and do it. Don't question yourself. Do it. If you say you want to do this, you want to take this course, or maybe you don't have enough money to do what you have to do, but you think, well, maybe I'll get a little job somewhere and then do something. I said, don't think about it. Do it. It didn't come in your mind because your mind didn't want it, or you didn't want it. It was there. You just pulled it out. I said, this looks very interesting. Don't question yourself. I said, you are awesome. Always awesome. 100% awesome. So I said, the second you do that, you defeat yourself.
Well, not only that, you bring up a very interesting point, and that is the reflection of you in the mirror. You know, I always talk about Dr. Masaru Emoto, who did hidden messages in water, and he wanted to see if thought affects the molecular structure or the cellular structure, in this case of water. Excuse me. And he did it each and every time. If you're doing that mirror image, you are literally sending that vibe of love, impact, anything, whatever it is, and you're sending it to yourself. That's kind of like life. The only reflection is us. Truly, it's only one you reflected through the infinity of oneness.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like every other person, but every other person is interconnected with all of us. We're all one.
Yeah, I always use the mirror too, and after the I love you thing.
Mm-hmm.
I tell everybody, go
exactly.
to say, look in your eyes. Your eyes are the windows to the world.
Yeah, and the soul.
In your eyes and tell yourself you love yourself. Say, I love you. But look in the eye. Don't look at the mirror. Don't look at the face. Don't look at the thing, tattoos, anything else. Look in the eyeballs. And I said, say it 3 times. No genie will come out of the toilet. but at the same time, see, you're thinking about what I was thinking about. But on the other hand, if you do it 3 times, no, seriously, the first time in that you're a little taken back by it because you're saying, oh, well, he's got to be crazy, but I'm going to do it anyway just for the hell of it, you know? So he says it. And then he goes, now all of a sudden, you know, the comfort zone comes a little bit further into reality. And he goes, again, I love you. And they go. Then they finally look in the eyes. Now, at the time they do that, because somebody actually gave me a whole dissertation of what she did when she did that.
Awesome.
She said when she came around or came off the mirror from doing what I told her to do, she said, I didn't feel any different. Until the next day when I went in the bathroom and I went to the mirror and said it again. I said, it was in you all the time. You just had to convince yourself. I didn't convince you, you did. And it was really, I felt so good, that somebody actually listened. It's like,
Well, and
wow.
they listened and put it to the test too.
Yeah,
Because you
yeah,
could
well,
talk all you want, but what's the
yeah,
validation? What are you manifesting from that?
yeah. I mean, we're awesome.
Yeah.
I love that idea. And I've been doing that, gosh, since I was 20 years old as well. I look in the mirror all the time
100
to,
years ago. Okay.
yeah, about 100 years ago. I look into the mirror
I
all the
feel safe.
time.
I feel safe.
Yeah, I'll take it out on him.
Yeah,
Old
oh,
granny
Oh,
here.
yeah.
sorry, I can't
That is
help you.
amazing. Yeah.
But it's fascinating. Jamie and I were just talking. We just launched our Starseed Awakening retreat in Phoenix this summer, which is the 22nd through the 24th of July in Phoenix. It's a weekend retreat to discover your starseed heritage. And
Ooh.
it's going to be fascinating. One of the exercises does involve looking at a mirror to really check out your starseed connections.
Mm,
And it's something that I've used to discover what I've found to be in myself and all the different types of starseed energy that I have latent within me. And it's a really cool embodiment exercise as well. So just want to kind of throw that out there that not only can you use it to love yourself, you can use it to discover who you are and all the myriad facets of who you are, whether it's you're doing past life connection, future life connection, obviously in our starseed retreat, starseed connections. But it's a really cool practice to, just do mirror gazing and just really stare and be like, okay, I want to see the essence of who I am and allow it to reflect back to you. Allow yourself to receive it and then sleep on it and then see how you feel when you wake up. Because I do agree, going back the next day, going back the day after that, and the day after that, not only do you discover more about yourself, you discover more that reveals itself to you when we look with new and fresh eyes all the time. It's really a cool exercise.
The world opens up to us every day. We just never spend the time to look around or feel what's going on around us. We always say, well, what is that show that I always see that everybody that says that they're stuck in um, Groundhog Day.
Okay. Right.
Okay,
Right.
how many people say they're stuck in Groundhog Day? They
Yeah.
get up in the morning, they have their breakfast, they go to work, they come home, they put their feet up, and they have dinner, they put their feet up in the air, and that they have their dinner and everything else, have a beer, and they go to sleep. Next morning, they get up, they have breakfast, it goes on and on and on. I told him, I said, I said, really, I said, you got it. I said, I'm not telling you to do what I do. You have to do what you do, but you don't have to do the same thing every morning. I said, you can change the times you get up. I did. The reason why I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning is because I'm a nut that wants to see the universe. So what? On the other hand, you could do the same thing. Get up an hour earlier, go to bed an hour later. Roll over, do what I do. I put on TV and I put on the ancient channel and I watch about UFOs and all this kind of stuff. And it puts me right to sleep. You know, I'm,
It's good.
yeah, I'm so out. It's not funny. But I mean, I actually one of these days now I'm going to have to chat with Mark Brinkerhoff.
Mhm.
What did the guys say today? Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah. And it's great because more people are opening up to their starseed heritage, their connections. And I think a big wave of the starseed activation is we as another species are not going to save humans and this planet from themselves. Because if we did, and graciously, we have the right intent, we want to help you, but we help you, save you, so to speak. And then with your technology, you kind of learn to obliterate things and then you go start taking over worlds. Well, it kind of sounds like we're starting to do now. Mars, Venus, we're starting to. So basically, just from my awareness, there are intergalactic rules and regs, kind of like we have laws here. And with that, basically, we're going to be the inside job. We have been planting a lot of our people, our beings, many different species on this planet, so that now it becomes an inside job. That's why a lot of people are starting to wake up going, I don't know, but I don't feel like I'm from here. It doesn't, what? And so they're getting a lot of activations and not necessarily understanding a lot of what's going on. And so if you're not aware of that, it can get a little uneasy. People and oddballs like us that have gone through something like this go, oh, you know what? I've been through something similar, and here's what I did. Yeah, I think we've got enough time to do another. Yeah, let's do one more call, please.
Yeah. All right, there's somebody on there I just saw from Ontario, from Toronto. Come on, if you're from Toronto, Canada.
Toronto. Oh,
You there? I know
that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Silence is golden. That's beautiful.
It's an 847 area code.
Yep. Don't even worry about it. Never put. Yeah, for me, I never push it.
He's there. He's
That's cool.
Just listening.
Good.
Perfect. That's beautiful.
But actually, what you were talking about, Maggie, about the mirrors and things like that. I mean, I've been saying that. Oh God, I think don't forget that. I mean, and Jamie probably knows the story. My mother's mother was someone who spoke to spirits in my family. When my mother's mother had passed away when the last sister was born. So she used to come around to take care of the children. The spirit used to come around. Mm-hmm. And my grandmother used to, tell us all about this stuff and, what was going on and everything. But my grandmother was the kind of person that could touch you. And by holding your hand, she would tell you what you were going to do, where you were going, the psychic part of it. Now, that bled off to my mother. My mother was the one that always used to say all the time. She said, if you look in your eyes, you'll see the world. She used to say that all the time. And that's why I got people on with the mirror, because in the mirror, you're connecting yourself with yourself. It's a hell of a connection, let me tell you. But it's a good connection because now you can actually tell yourself. You're not convincing anybody. You're not convincing the world around you or anything. You're saying to yourself, I love me. And that's something that, who does that? They just don't, and they should.
And that's the point, God being okay.
Even God said, I am. Which is another way of saying, I love me, I love you.
Notice he says, I am, not I was, not I will be.
Exactly.
I am.
Hmm?
As we perceive God.
That's verbatim.
Beautiful. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Bobby.
But we have so many things that to do. You guys need to do in your show or something like that. And we got to talk.
Yeah.
There's a way I can mess around with this stuff a little bit if you just leave a laptop somewhere.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be talking more about that.
Oh, we can get a little bit crazy. Now, anybody, by the way, that wants a copy of this show, and for some reason you don't go into YouTube, it's on YouTube. All you do is you go into YouTube and you put in Pyramid One Radio. And you'll go right to a site. Up on the top, it says videos. You click on videos, and you got all kinds of things. Also, you go to Google, and you go into where it says Pyramid One Network Mixcloud. There's 1,600 shows in there, audio shows. You could listen to us for the next 4 or 5 years, I guess, every day, the one show. You can do that, or just go to Pyramid One Network /Wix, WIX, and you go into our main website, which will give you all kinds of things. It'll give you this show was right in the middle of that set by the end of the week.
Excellent. Very cool.
So you can click on this show in that set, in that site.
Beautiful. Kind of, yeah, lots of avenues, man. I love it.
We're doing some crazy things. Really.
Yeah.
I tell you, with all this stuff and that, with all these pandemic and everything else, we've had less listeners because they were listening to news. I mean, I get emails and that they say, "Listen, sorry, I missed the show, and that because I was listening to this, I was listening to this thing here, or I was out with this, and all kinds of stuff." And that. But in the summertime, I think it's going to get a little bit better because so many people now, after 2 years of being tied up, want more possibilities to their lives.
Yeah,
we can give it to them. At least we can give them some kind of an idea that
yes,
they can work on and be a better person.
give them a starting point. That's all we need. Oh, I can do this. All right, I got enough guts. Let's do it. And then they willing to open up to it. It's always good, Bobby. Lots of love. Ow. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you soon.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget, everybody, now, you can always call in by calling 609-663-0153 or just go to our website, www.pyramid1network.com. That's got some links in there, bring you to some of the blogs. You can find out more about the people that are going to be on here. And as we get bigger and bigger, I don't know what's getting bigger, my head or the job. But as we get bigger, don't forget, we love you. That's why we want you here. Love us. We love you. We love the universe. The universe loves you. God loves you. God bless everyone.